Your first warned weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolfe.
Scattered storms continue to remain the picture here into the later part of our evening tonight, with many spots seeing at least dry conditions for now, but the scattered storms likely still continue for a bit longer. The strongest of which right now passing over Rockford and just now to the north and northwest, along with this shallower line of storms now just east of Dubuque. Focusing more on that storm in Rockford, we're seeing a lot of that frequent lightning, very heavy rainfall, but not seeing as much in the way of strong winds down to the surface. So the severe threat with this storm remains very limited, although it is still capable of producing some very heavy rainfall along with that frequent lightning. And one thing I want to point out is there's a lot of lightning even well south of that storm. So you're seeing that lightning extending even much further out from the base of that storm, even beyond after it has passed. There's that storm now impacting our Mercy Health SkyTrack camera in Beloit, Wisconsin. Rain falling against that camera, along with those flashes of lightning likely being seen off in the distance. All of this rain adding on to already some very impressive totals for some within the region. At the Rockford Airport, we picked up just shy of 1.5 inches of rain so far, but out toward Dubuque, 6 inches of rain had fallen in some spots over the last 24 hours. And up near Milwaukee, some locations picking up between 8 to 12 inches of rain. Weather watcher Terry in Genoa reporting 0.61 inches of rain, along with the current temperature of 77 degrees and a dew point of 73. Weather watcher Mike down in Foreston, 1.5 inches of rain in total, much of that coming in the early hours of this morning, along with his current temperature 74 degrees. A lot of that rain that we had through the overnight hours of last night and into early this morning, primarily because of this back building storm activity in Milwaukee. That's why they had those impressive rainfall totals. It just did not stop torrential rain for several hours on end, and that's why that rainfall totals added up very, very quickly. And then we saw a lot of this activity out to the west quickly fill in, and that's what brought us some of the steadier rain going into the early hours of this morning. Current temperatures across the board still sitting in the 70s, 75 degrees in Rockford, 76, Woodstock, 73 in DeKalb. As we head through the late evening and overnight hours tonight, we're not going to drop much further, only back down to the upper 60s and maintaining the chance for some of those scattered storms early on. But once we head beyond midnight, things do look to start drying out. We'll see another round of some scattered storms going into tomorrow, but likely much less in the way of our coverage. And if we end up staying dry for much of the afternoon, our temperature could even rise close to the mid-80s for a few isolated spots. But for now, 83 degrees, that forecast high temperature tomorrow. Here's a look at Futurecast to see where those scattered storms will go. A lot of that activity off to our north and our northwest continues to fizzle as we head closer to midnight, maintaining still a small chance for an isolated storm beyond midnight into the early hours of tomorrow morning. But the bulk of the coverage tomorrow likely well down to our south and to our southeast. This is what I'm showing with that much less in the way of coverage. That continues for tomorrow. Likely a better chance tomorrow night again going into the early part of Tuesday, and then another slim chance for a few storms heading into Tuesday as a cold front starts to sweep through the region. Temperatures still 83 degrees for both Monday and for Tuesday, but gradually drying out once that cold front slides through. We're actually dry for at least Wednesday and Thursday, but our temperatures start to climb along with our humidity as we head into the end of the week.